Hello and welcome to today's video where we'll be looking at Binance Coin and why I believe the risk-reward ratio has changed for it this week and the action I've taken as a result. Now, this is not financial advice, this is just what I'm doing for your entertainment. What you do is, of course, completely up to you. Now, to put this into some kind of context, the only trades I make are from fiat into Bitcoin and vice versa, and from Bitcoin into any other coin and vice versa. So if an altcoin is doing well against fiat currency, I don't really care if Bitcoin is doing better because I'd rather own Bitcoin because it's a much safer bet. So with that in mind, let's look at the Binance Coin chart for this year. Now, as we can see, it's had a tremendous growth. I saw a setup forming down here back in March. I bought in a bit early there, and I actually made a mistake. I bought 10 times more than I meant to, can you believe? I noticed the mistake straight away. I could have sold 9/10 of the Binance Coin back into Bitcoin, but I decided no, I have faith in this trade, so I'm going to stick with it. Now the trade finally, the setup ended here, and the trade performed very well. I actually sold half of the Binance Coin back into Bitcoin at that point. I held the other half for overperformance, and it continued to overperform. Now let's zoom in on the more recent price action. Okay, so another setup started. There was a sort of parabolic rise, and so I did sell some at the end of that parabolic rise, but then another setup started. And when that trade began, I bought some more here. It reached target. I got a bit blasé and didn't sell it when it reached target. I thought, I was so used to overperformance, it's bound to continue overperforming. Big mistake on my part, which I hope I've learned from. So I didn't sell there, and having reached target, it then fell away. And when it fell below this support line, I did sell what I'd bought here. I made a small profit, nothing substantial, but I'd still kept the rest of the Binance Coin to see how it would do, and the line that had been support now became resistance. But that was until Wednesday this week, and that big down leg really took the price away from that line which had been originally support and was now resistance. So today I did sell some, and I will continue to sell my Binance Coin down over the next week or two. So what are the problems here? Well, I've alluded to one. We had a support line which became resistance, so that's an indication that momentum is slowing. A second indication is that we had this original trade, the first trade, which began in March, which overperformed, and we then got a second trade which performed, but it didn't overperform. So again, that indicates a loss of momentum, and you can see there's a general sort of rounding out of this price rise. Now, as another indicator, we can look at how Binance has done against Tether, which I know I said isn't exactly what I'm primarily interested in, but it can give us some useful clues. Again, on the longer time scale, there was a similar setup in parallel to the one against Bitcoin back here in March. That overperformed. The price then fell back to the target. A second squeeze happened. But this second, more recent trade, the intermediate target timed out. It went through the side of the box before it went through the top of the box. And for the full target, the trade actually failed. The price fell down below the bottom of the box, and so at that point the trade had failed. So on Tether we've got a failing target, and that's just one more negative indicator. So that's why I made the sale today. There are now so many negatives that I don't want to hold anymore. I'll hold a small amount because I believe long term Binance is a good fundamental bet. It's got a real world use case. Binance burn some of those Binance coins every quarter out of their profits, so supply is reducing. They've also got the BNB, the Binance Coin Vault, which makes it very easy to earn interest on, and brings a certain reluctance to sell because it's earning interest. But despite all that, and despite all this great momentum for this year, I do believe the momentum has changed, and so that's why I'm starting to sell. So let me know what you think of that, or if you have any other thoughts on how Binance Coin is doing at the moment in the comments. That'd be very welcome. And that's all for today's video. Thank you for listening.